told me I should fight back. They don't like that. Just know if you rock the boat, you better have a life raft. Woo!
What up, everybody in the YTBC? Just want to make this really quick video. It's going to make it short and sweet. So, one of the things that I've been hearing lately, and I don't know why this is happening just now. Well, actually, I do know why it's happening just now. Let me just go ahead and get into it. So, one of the things I've been hearing is that the offer from Anthony Joshua was not a legitimate offer to Deontay Wilder, because he never went to the Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury fight. He wasn't there in person. Therefore, his offer was just, it was a fake offer, supposedly. I don't know what logic these people are using. I mean, I hope somebody can make this make sense to me, but that just doesn't make any sense to me. And here's why. You know, if you truly feel that way, that's fine. But then you also have to say that Deontay Wilder's $50 million offer was bullshit, and that's just because Deontay Wilder refused to go to the Joshua Povetkin fight. Yeah. If you apply the same logic to Deontay Wilder, then you have to admit that the $50 million was bullshit. Now, I always said that the $50 million was bullshit, and I always said that Joshua's offers were legit. But it had nothing to do with whether or not they went to each other's fights or not. It had to do with the fact that Anthony Joshua actually, you know, his team actually provided details and a contract. There was actual black and white paper for Deontay Wilder to sign, and he just refused to sign it. In the case of Deontay Wilder's $50 million, there was no contract that was drawn up. There was no details that was given to Anthony Joshua other than that he would get $50 million. So it's not the same thing by that logic, but by the logic of, well, if the fighter doesn't go to the other fighter's fight, well, then that just means that that offer wasn't legit. I'm not saying that, you know, there's no possibility that the offer wasn't legit. I just think there's more substantial evidence in the favor of it being a legit offer than not being a legit offer. The fact that a contract was drawn up and signed by Anthony Joshua, by the way. They didn't need his signature. He signed it before sending it over to Wilder. So that tells me he meant business, because once Wilder signed that contract, that means that Anthony Joshua was contractually obligated to fight him. But we all know what happened. Deontay Wilder lost his pen, and the fight didn't happen, and we ended up getting the Fury fight and the Povetkin fights instead. Now, what I find very interesting is that a lot of the same people were saying that Terence Crawford, you know, that he didn't want the Errol Spence fight because he didn't say his name after his fight with Benavidez. Well, which is it? Do you want them to call him out in the ring, or do you want them to show up to their fights? Those are two polar opposites. One of them, anybody can call somebody out when they're not in your face. So I do kind of get the whole, you want them to be there in person, but then don't change it for Terence Crawford. You rather him call him out in the ring. That's bullshit. And you know what the funny thing is? Then Terence Crawford proceeded to approach Errol Spence Jr. in person. Yeah. I mean, I know I'm a little bit late on this, but a couple weeks ago, Elie Seckbach uploaded a video where Terence Crawford came face to face with Errol Spence. He searched him out physically. We're not talking about Twitter. We're not talking about just saying his name in the ring. We're talking about he went to the guy. And all Errol Spence had was excuses. There was no excuses coming from Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford heckled him a little bit, but at the end of the day, you could see in Crawford's face that he meant business. So Terrence Crawford, I just want to get this straight. So Terrence Crawford goes to Errol Spence in person, approaches him in person, tells him he wants to fight in person, but he don't want the fight. But because Anthony Joshua didn't go to the fight, or I'm getting my, but because, you know, but Deontay Wilder can skip out on the Joshua Povetkin fight, and he wants to fight though. See, y'all's logic, there is no logic, really. I mean, I say your logic, but there just is no logic. You guys are full of shit, and you know it. You know, it just boggles my mind how people will just be so inconsistent, and it's so blatant. It's not hard. It's not hard to point this shit out. It's extremely easy. What I'm getting to is, you either have to say that Errol Spence Jr. doesn't want the fight, or you got to say that Deontay Wilder doesn't want the fight. You can't say that they both want the fight because they're doing, or I'm sorry. Yeah, you can't say that they both want the fight because they're, with your own logic, they're, you know, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. You can't say that they want the fight, but yet Terrence Crawford is the one approaching Errol Spence face to face, while Deontay Wilder is, you know, nah. But anyways, to all my subscribers, anybody watching my videos, or if you just so happen to stumble on this video, hope you have a wonderful, blessed day. Feel free to leave a comment if you want to share your thoughts. Peace.
Undefeated.